Hi everybody and big welcome to cEDH TV gameplay. Today me and Pontus are playing against Samurai.
Yo.
And Alex.
Hi guys.
So today I'm bringing Mox Masters May winning list. It's Tymna Jeska, it's Nasless Farm. So we just have a bunch of the Mardu combos. We have Pita instead of Nas, and then a bunch of infinite mana combos to win with Jeska.
Today I decided to play something I haven't played in a while, which is a blue deck that has Mardu in it. This is called Final Farm. It's based around Bosch and Rolls list, except I'm a Mardu player, so I'm gonna gamble and try to hit Final Fortune on some crazy ass draws.
It's been a while since I played Sisay, so I want to play Sisay. Nothing special about it. Typical Sisay combo cards to win the game, and some control cards to make sure we don't lose the game and such.
I'm Alex, and I will be bringing in the all good cards Kenrith. There's a little bit of more hate pieces in there right now with Manglehorn and such, but it's just all the good win cons and none of the bad ones. And with infinite mana through Skirk Prospector Dockside.
And with that, let's take a look at some opening hands. So I actually like this hand. It's a little bit strange. We have an Ancient Tomb into an Arcane Signet into a Bird of Paradise, which means that on turn 2 we have 4 mana, which means a Yisan and a Veil of Summer, I guess. And we already have the Cultist of the Absolute, but this deck plays really well as the Yisan as a secondary commander, basically Yisan 5 color inside the 99, which is really strong. Like Yisan will verse something of 1 early, and then on verse 2 we can find Dockside Extortionist. And with Dockside and Cultist of the Absolute, we should, and depending on how many artifacts we put into play, we should be able to develop a win here. But Yisan, and we are also the starting player in the game, turn 2 is really good. So I'm gonna keep this hand. I kinda hope that I'm drawing into more lands and maybe a blue source down the line, so I can put more mana into play and eventually interact with my Force of Will. But now, let's take a look at what Samurai is keeping.
We've got 3 draws, we got this, but we have no fast mana, so let's go ahead and go for a new mulligan. I'm not gonna lie, this is a hand I want. This is the hand I'm gonna keep. Turn 1, we're gonna get Tymna. Turn 2, we can play out this Ristic Study. We've got Force backup for all of this. This should be a very decent hand. We've even got a blue source. Yeah, this seems really good. Yeah, this is what we're gonna go with.
Yeah, this hand is lacking a lot of lands. Kinda want 3 lands for this hand to be viable, and I have 1. And yeah, I'm not gonna take that gamble. Go to second 7. Yeah, so this hand is pretty okay. It's a bit awkward because, well, our mana is kind of iffy. We would love to do to turn 1 Hope of Kerper to turn 2 Tymna. So we can do turn 2 Tymna plus Hope of Kerper and then into turn 3 Wishclaw with Similar Spirit mana. I think that's okay. I'm going to mulligan this because it's a second 7 and it's just okay. We do have some good pieces here, but it's a bit too awkward for me to actually want to keep. So go to 6 and immediately we get rewarded. This isn't a much better hand, but it's a better hand and it's quite a lot better in my opinion. So we have a bunch of mana, we have a tutor, we have Oswald to sheet stuff in. Also Oswald acts as sacrifice fodder for Diabolic Intent, which we also have in hand. So yeah, this hand has most of the things we want. I assume we're just bottoming the Savins because we don't have an active plan for it right now. But yeah, this is a pretty decent hand. Turn 1 Oswald, turn 2 Tymna. Let's go.
This hand right here, it's okay, but it doesn't really do anything apart from put out a Dothy and then eventually Intuition. So that's not really a keep. So I'm gonna mull to the second 7. So I think this hand, where it gets me is Dorks, Soul Ring, and a Kenrith out with eventually a Breach, but I don't think that gets me anywhere else. It doesn't get me closer to a win because there is no tutors, there is no anything else. It's just breach and pray you draw something. So I don't like that. I'm gonna go to 6. See, now this is a Dork on 1 and Dockside and an Ocean Thief to stop other people. Yeah, I like this hand. I'm gonna bottom the Thoracle because I don't need it in my hand. That is not a card I want in my hand. That is not a card I need in my hand, so it's gonna go away.
Drawing a card for the turn. We're gonna play this Ancient Tomb and tap it. And cast an Arcane Signet. And then tap that one too. And cast a Bird of Paradise. And then I pass the turn.
Alright, my turn. Draw. We'll play a Morphic Pool. Graveyard. We're gonna add white. Cast Tymna. That'll be my turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be this coloring turn. I'd like to fetch, finding this plateau. Cast this mana crypt. Tap 2 or 3, floating 1, to cast this Oswald Fiddlebender. Team in play, I'll pass the turn.
I will draw for turn. I'll play this here Savannah. I'll tap it for a green and play an Ignoble Hierarch. And with that, I will finish my turn.
I will untap and draw a card. Tapping this, casting Yisan the Wandering Bard. And then I pass the turn.
Play a Badlands. We will move to combat and attack Kenrith for 2.
I declare no blocks.
I'll go up 1. Well, I'll go up 2, main phase, lose a life, draw a card. Play a Mana Crypt, Ristic Study. I'm gonna pass my turn.
Go to my turn. Upkeep, roll for crypt. Odds damage. Roll a 4, so no damage. Draw for turn. I'll cast a kraum, floating in mana to pay for Ristic. Imprinting this Dark Ritual. Tap 3 for Tymna. You may draw. Then I would like to move to combat. Swing Oswald at you, Samurai. Post combat main phase. Tymna will trigger. I'd like to pay a life to draw a card. Pass my turn.
Tarnish Citadel as my land for turn. Then I'll tap for 3 and play a Manglehorn.
We can talk about this, Alex.
No, we can't.
Please.
No, I'm playing a Manglehorn. You're okay. You're good. Don't worry about it.
No effects.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay. ETB, I would like to blow up the Mana Crypt from you, Samurai. No. The Mana Crypt from you, I know what I said. And then I would like to end my turn.
I would like to start my turn by drawing a card. So normally, I pass turn here and I activate Yisan in the end step of Kenrith player. However, going over what I kind of want to put into play, I think I want to have an Esper Sentinel in this case, because I would like to accumulate more value as the game continues, and Esper Sentinel will help me to draw some cards, because I haven't drawn a single land so far. So I think we're actually gonna go and activate Yisan for an Esper Sentinel, and there are other cards we could be good finding, but yeah, the card draw feels kind of needed right now. It's like a backup if something goes wrong. I will activate Yisan. Esper Sentinel, and then I pass the turn.
Go to combat and I will attack Mons with Tymna.
I take 2 damage.
Gain 2 from Tymna, main phase 2, lose a life, draw a card. Tap, play a Dark Ritual. I won't pay.
I will draw a card.
Necropotence. Let's go ahead and pay 30... I'm doing math on this. Let's go 34 life. 34 life. I'm going to move to mine instead. Just going to draw the 34. I'd like to Chain of Vapor the Necropotence, and then I'd like to copy it, sacrifice the Scrubland, and I'd like to target... Which do you think's better, bouncing the Tymna or bouncing the Yisan?
Most likely Yisan.
If you have a Manglehorn in play, I can't really do Dockside into that. So if you're not gonna bounce Manglehorn, there's no point in bouncing Yisan here.
Yeah, you have more alternatives in the deck than...
Yeah, I think I gotta bounce the Yisan.
I have a response, Yisan being targeted by Chain of Vapor. I'm gonna Veil of Summer in response, not paying for Ristic Study, because you can have more cards to discard, my friend.
We're just gonna Fierce Guardianship that.
I have no response to that. Veil of Summer is countered, and Yisan is back in my hand, and you can continue.
This is the hand I'm keeping after discarding. I pass turn.
Go to my turn. Upkeep, I will roll for crypt. Odds damage. Roll the 6, no damage. Draw for turn. I'm casting a Loyal Apprentice. The Mangalore is in play. I don't get untapped Thopters. I would like to move to combat. Combat trigger. Make a tapped Thopter. Yeah, swing a Loyal Apprentice at Alex, a Tymna at Mons, and Oswald at Samurai.
I take 2 damage.
I'll take 2.
Tymna trigger, I'd like to gain 2, and then move to, and no, not end step, post combat main phase, and have a new Tymna trigger. I'd like to draw 3, shock in this Godly Shrine, taking 2 damage.
I have nothing on your end step. I will untap, upkeep, and draw. I mean, I've only played green cards in Tarnished Citadel. Tap 2, play a Dockside. I did not pay the 1. You may draw. So I have a lot of options, and most of them are based on whether or not I think that our boy over there with the 4 life kept relevant counter magic. So I could neoform the Ignoble, but it runs the risk of just getting blown out. But that being said, I could also after just Dark Ritual, Wishclaw, Naws. So that is always an option, but I could also just wait and Notion Thief, but that also runs the risk of me not being relevant in the game. So I think I'm going to do the Neoform first. Crack for a black, and I'd like to Dark Ritual. I'm not paying the 1. You may also draw. 2 of my 3 and play a Wishclaw.
I get to draw? Awesome. I'm loving this guy.
I'll use my black floating, and I'd like to tap the Wish Claw to activate it.
I'd like to tap 1, calling the weak Tymna.
I will draw a card for Esper Sentinel.
I'll go down 3 black and play an opposition agent.
Now I'm kind of happy that my Yisan is not gonna activate.
Oh, that's right. It's not. I'm gonna take it a mind break trap.
And I will be giving the Wish Claw Talisman over to the pontoon boat.
Thank you, Alex, for outing that nickname.
Combat. 3/3 Exalted Manglehorn at you. Absolutely.
That's kind of the only reason that I kept that in hand.
Neoform sacking my ignoble.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mind break trap.
Sure, that's fine. I will pass the turn.
So I'm really happy I tutored for an Esper Sentinel. That actually helped me get a few cards here. So we are in a tight spot. There's no Op Agent in play. There is no Manglehorn in play. So we can actually tutor for Dockside with our Wishclaw Talisman, generate 6 treasures. But the total cost of all of that is 5, which will basically make me tap out and only have 6 treasures. And from that point, I don't really have much else to do. And as I'm not really gonna be able to win the turn this turn, I more or less need to find an interaction same time. One thing we could do is actually get the Dockside, cast it, and if the Kenrith player doesn't crack any of his 4 treasures, we actually win the game. The reason for that is that he doesn't crack any treasures, we will have 10 treasures. And with 10 treasures, we can Demonic Tutor, that goes down to 8, find Emil, cast Emil, and then go infinite. They don't know that I have a Demonic Tutor in my hand, so I'm actually gonna go for that. If he actually cracks his treasures, we still have a play of casting Demonic Tutor and use the treasures to find something like Laviniasaurus Renegade. And with our Laviniasaurus Renegade, it's gonna be harder for next player in turn order to actually win the game, as I have a Force of Will and he can't really cast free to cast spells, because I'm thinking he has a potential win going for it, but he doesn't have enough interaction. He has a bunch of free to cast interaction. So casting Wishclaw, finding Dockside is a good outcome regardless if the Kenrith actually sacrifices treasures. Tap this, cast a Wishclaw Talisman and not paying for Ristic Study. I'm gonna tap this and I'm gonna give it to Alex, the Kenrith player. You can have a Wishclaw. I will play this Shadowblood Ridge as a land drop, and then I tap 2 mana for a Dockside Extortionist.
You pay the 1?
Ristic Study can draw a card.
I love you. We're gonna cast Force of Will, exile this Windfall for reasons.
Notion Thief. Can I draw a card?
I have a response to the to my Esper Notion Thief still on the stack. I'm going to Force of Will myself here, paying 1 life. Counterspelling the Force of Will.
I don't respond.
My Force of Will resolves, removing the other Force of Will. I have no response to Notion Thief.
Notion Thief resolves.
You can draw a card from my Esper Sentinel.
Dope.
Dockside resolves. Dockside ETB. I will generate 6 treasures. I will use 2 of those to cast Demonic Tutor. Not paying for Ristic Study because he's not going to draw from Ristic Study because there's a Notion Thief in play.
Oh, Mons, I'm gonna let him draw cards.
So there are 2 Wish Claws around the table. Someone is actually going to win the game soon, probably. Pontus clearly doesn't really have any form of interaction. Kenrith might, but probably doesn't. He drew a few cards with his Notion Thief here. What we could find is a no opposition agent, and that will basically remove these 2 Wishclaw Talismans and gain value from them. So that's like the very good correct play to actually do. However, that does not actually interact anything with the blue farm player. So Samurai can win through the opposition agent that I put into play. Alex currently has, the Kenrith player, 1 Mindbreak Trap in his graveyard, which means that all the other free to cast counterspells are still in there. However, he only has 2 cards in his hand, so the chance of him having an interaction versus Samurai, the Tymna Kraum player, is really low, which means that I really have to find an interaction. I really hate being in this position, because me interacting with Samurai really just frees up the other guys to try to win the game instead. So what I need to do is find a hate bear, a stacks piece that is going to interact with everyone. That stacks piece is tricky. Considering the land count everyone has, I think it is Lavinia. I'm gonna find this and I'm immediately gonna cast Laviniasaurus Renegade. And I'm not paying for Ristic Study. Laviniasaurus Renegade resolves, and I punch Samurai for 1 with my Esper Sentinel. And I pass turn.
So we're gonna go with Marsh Flats. Crack it, lose a life.
Oh, you're 1 life away.
Underground Sea. We're gonna snap Lavinia.
I will draw a card, but the Notion Thief will draw a card.
No, I pass priority.
It resolves.
Lavinia goes to my hand.
2. Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach resolves. Okay. We're gonna exile Marsh Flats, Gemstone Caverns, and Emergent Cell. to cast Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond on the stack. Does it resolve? We're going to get 3 blue. I'm discarding my entire hand. We're going to Intuition. I'm finding these 3 cards. I'm going to play LED for white this time. Crack it to play Silence. Silence resolves, and then I'm gonna Brain Freeze loop using LED and Brain Freeze, and then I'm gonna mill myself out and cast Thassa's Oracle in my grave. As my deck is empty, I win the game. 1 life, GG's!
Yeah, we were trying to interact as much as we can. I think actually we should have attacked more with Pontus creatures onto Samurai, because in the end he was only at 1 life left. So if Pontus just have, instead of drawn 3 cards this turn, drawn 2 cards, we could have killed Samurai. So I think that was, yeah, an outcome we could have gone for.
Something I could have done better that game. Instead of going for tutors and such, just casted Kenrith and beat him to death.
Yeah, and then I should probably have attacked more at Samurai. I just didn't want him to die preemptively, so we could still have him for interaction during Alex and maybe Monster's turn. But that bit me in the butt, so